channel, Fat Boys. Today I'm up here in front of Black Bear Harley-Davidson, and they are allowing me to go on a nice test ride and demo of the Harley-Davidson Sportster 48. Ooh, one of my absolute favorite Sportsters. Love this bike. I love the forward controls. I love the absolutely aggressive fat front tire. I love the look of this bike. It is such an old school aesthetic bike, and I'm so excited to go hop a leg on over this bike. So what you're going to be expecting from this video is going to be a general how it feels to ride this bike, the general feeling of this. This isn't going to be all of the specs of this bike, but this is going to express how it truly does feel to ride this bike. And we're also going to be talking about who I think this bike really is for and who this is probably going to be fitting the best. So I am 5'11". You can clearly see I'm flat footing this. The seat is pretty plush. I'm nice and comfortable sitting on it. There's not a lot of butt room on it though. It's a really small solo seat. And so in order to turn it on, you bring the key down here, turn it all the way, hit the on switch, and hit the starter. Starts up nice and well, easy. Sounds kind of quiet. It's nice and stock mufflers, but you know, you clearly got the speedometer right here. Super easy. You can go through your options right here, trip A, trip B. You got time, you got your gear and RPMs, and you also got your mileage. Let's go ahead and leave it on gear and RPM since we don't have a tachometer here. This does have also a peanut tank, so this does make it a smaller, and we'll go ahead and start hitting the road and tell you how this starts to feel. Immediately off the bat, feels like it really does grab. I also feel myself super well leaned over in that famous taco position right now, and you really do feel that engine moving out from underneath you. Not moving out, but moving underneath you. You feel the crazy vibrations coming off of this thing. Let's hit it. Heck yeah, man. And we're already in top gear. 5-speed transmission. Man, this thing feels super planted. You really feel the engine working. You feel the vibrations of it. You feel like it's gonna rattle your teeth off through the handlebars. But other than that, it really does have a really unique characteristic of the Sportster and this engine. So I really do love these engines, but oh gosh, the suspension could use a little love and increasing the movement through it. It doesn't really allow much movement in how small the suspension is on this bike from the stock, but you're really leaned over. You're really in a taco position, especially with these forwards on here. Your feet are forward, your feet are really far forward, your knees are a little bit up, and then you got these low down bars right here that are also really forward, so you're really tucked in. You're shaped like a taco. Ugh. And the suspension can really use some love. It's going right up into the cave. The one thing this bike does not lack is aesthetics and coolness, because when you are on this bike, man, you just look so freaking cool. And with how cool it looks, it really is amazing that it comes like this from the factory. You got the small tank that looks absolutely amazing. You can lift it so easily, giving you even more clearance if that's what you like. You can throw an exhaust on here, but really, you don't really need that. The things that you really may want is just like little refinements here and there, but this bike straight from the factory looks absolutely amazing. So the next really beneficial part of this bike is that it does have the front fat tire, and a lot of people, they're kind of on the fence about that, but the fat front tire really does allow for a much more planted road positioning. You're not as easily going to be swept on the road. You have a much more substantial place in the road and how the handling of the bike feels, and that's kind of hard to explain other than I can give an example of a rut in a road, to where if you have a skinny tire and it goes into that rut, it's going to grab much easier and it's going to throw you out of place a lot easier. But if you have a fat tire, it's not going to grab as easy. Think of a car tire going into a little bit of a rut. It doesn't want to stay in that rut. It kind of just goes over it. So if you have the fat tire on the front here, it doesn't really want to stay or get caught in those ruts. And the shifting on this thing just feels so good. Has such a nice clunk and a nice solid feel. There's no mushiness to it. But this bike would not be comfortable on long trips. It is already, relatively speaking, uncomfortable on this short trip because of the taco position I'm sitting in. But if you're just the person that really isn't going on the long trips, you're going to really enjoy this bike. If you're just staying around town, you're hopping around, you're a bar hopper, then you're gonna love this bike. If you're just going to and from work, this bike is gonna be amazing. And this really does make me miss having my Sportster just because of the characteristics of it. I wish I still had my Sportster. Maybe one of these days I'll get one of my Sportsters back. And let's check out this passing power. Even for a Sportster, has plenty of passing power. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's still plenty fast because of that 1200 cc's. Man, this bike is plenty. So who do I think this bike really is going to be for? This bike really is going to be for, I would say, two people. For number one, who I think this bike is going to be for is going to be the person that is starting out / has already been riding, but they're staying really close. They're not traveling far. And I'm putting those two together as a category because generally as a beginner, you're not doing long distance. You're taking it easy. And generally as like an in-town commuter, you're also taking it super easy. God, man, them bumps hurt. I'm sure you heard that in my voice. And for number two, it's going to be the Harley Sportster aesthetic lover. The person that loves the old school Sportsters, that still wants to have that Harley sound, that wants to have that Harley feel, the old school. That's who this bike is really going to be for. This bike just has so much potential, so much aftermarket. You're really going to love having this bike as a beginner bike. You just have to be a little bit more tamed. Just realize you don't want to throttle it out immediately, or else otherwise you're going to regret it. Or the person that is just staying around in town for commuting, or the person that just wants to build their own bike. I will probably be getting a Sportster as my next bike for something to build out. So that tells you how serious I am. I would 100% buy this bike right now if I could. So let's hop back on over to Black Bear Harley-Davidson and let's get my final thoughts and impressions. So I am absolutely loving this bike. I absolutely love the 48s and just honestly all the Sportsters, especially the 1200cc Sportsters. They're amazing bikes. They are awesome beginner bikes, especially. They just handle so well. I absolutely love them. The only downside I can really see is the seat and just kind of the general ergonomics of it. The ergonomics don't make it the most comfortable for any long distance. Maybe anything more than 45 minutes, I would really start to be hurting on this bike. And the seat is really solo. It doesn't really hold you in that well, and you can really feel your butt want to slide off the back. Take this as you will. Hopefully this video helped you out. Make sure you guys come and check out Black Bear Harley-Davidson. They're a huge help to this channel. Thank you so much, guys, for everything you do. Make sure you come and check them out. Tell them Fat Boy Bob sent you. It really does help with the channel. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell notification. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.